Welcome to the podcast, where we introduce you to incredible humans who share their journeys with the mission to inspire you to harness your own inner tenacity to drive your life and career forward. And now, your host, Adam Posner.
We are back with Angela Cheng-Cimini. Angela, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Adam.
New friend, new face. Tell everyone out there who you are and what you do best.
I am a 30-year career HR professional who's in a phase of rewiring. I'm discovering myself beyond my job.
Let's unpack that for a little bit here, because I think there's so many lessons along the way. Been in corporate America for your professional career. Now you're at a point where you're doing your own thing, right?
Reclaiming time for myself and the pursuits that matter.
Was that an easy decision to make, or were you pushed into that decision? Talk a little bit about that thought process.
All of the above. There was a confluence of events. 3 people in our social circle in their 50s, one in their 70s, were suddenly diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Took stock of my life, figured I had been in autopilot for the last year and a half. We experienced some changes at work that felt out of step with what was important to me. And then my husband sort of basically retired. So he was going ahead and exploring the next phase in his life, and I felt like it was time for me to do the same.
I'm a big believer in this concept of chapters in your life, and this has kind of come into me in multiple ways from my career. There's different chapters there. Health stuff that I'm going through also in my life. And when you start to frame it like that, you think about what's important to you in that moment.
That's right.
So when you started to take stock, Angela, of what was important, what if you had to number them, what are the things that are most important to you at this stage in this chapter of your life?
So me.
Number one.
Actually, right?
You paid your dues.
Right, I'm doing self-care.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting my mask on first so that I can take care of the people that are important to me, which is family and friends. So not me
Everything
because
else
I'm an
after that?
egotist, but me so I can be best positioned to help the people I love the most.
So what does this chapter look like? Let's talk about what you're building, why you're building, and who's it for.
So I've joined a small nonprofit media organization, and as it turns out, I think I'm meant to land here. It's the Chronicle of Philanthropy, and we provide insights, information, and resources for those who serve the common good. And particularly right now, where foundations and philanthropies and nonprofits are under attack.
Yes.
It's important work. We're helping them navigate and figure out how to thrive in this moment. So I'm doing that. And then next to that, I'm continuing to do work in the AAPI advocacy realm.
And for what folks don't know what that acronym is?
Asian American Pacific Islander. I'm doing speaking on HR topics that are passionate for me, but I'm also going to learn how to paddleboard this summer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm working on a 1,000-piece
Paddleboard,
puzzle.
she can teach you.
I need the help. I want to get some rock and core. Yes, that's right. And I might write a book. I don't know.
I think you should do all of the above. What was that like first culture shock when you were like, wait a minute, I don't have to go into work today?
Oh my gosh. That's unbelievable. Like I look at my
Deep breath.
calendar and I have white space. I have time to think as opposed to back-to-back meetings.
I mean, you've had
amazing.
You've had a storied career. You worked for a lot of great organizations too, and you've seen this transformation of HR and TA and people in and out, and it ebbs and flows with culture, politics, world events right now. And let's call it what it is. We're in a scary place right now. You talk about, nonprofits and philanthropies. Look what's happening with the Kennedy Center. You look at other defunding for certain. It's a scary place right now. What advice do you give to, those out in the workforce right now? Listen, this concept of work as a family is shit's out the window.
My kids have never bought into that.
The jig is up. People get fired. Your work, can we feel safe in a 9-to-5 career job these days?
I think it depends on the expectations you go into it. If you're looking for a stable place, that's going to be hard to find. So
civil service, right? Industry. People need to get back into that.
I think there's a lot to be said for those countries who compel military service when you graduate from high school.
There's something to be said about that.
Belong to something bigger than you. Devote yourself to a cause larger than yourself. But in any case, I think so if you can't ensure that the organization around you is stable and highly functioning, then at least be part of a team that is. And that you can vet and suss for.
So let's talk about what you're building from a advisory here. Is it hard to build a business? I mean, what's the challenge of now you moving over to being a business owner? Is it the business development? Is it keeping your foot on the gas, like to drive revenue?
So this organization that I'm a part of is essentially a startup. And so we're learning to stand on our own 2 feet. And it's all of those things. But I think the most important skill that we can attain is triage.
Yes.
What are the things that are going to move the needle the most? What are the biggest levers you can pull? And just have faith that eventually you'll have time to get to the other things, because you can't do everything, Neil.
That's a great answer. So I am a huge proponent of mentorship. I mean, I did a LinkedIn post the other day about my buddy Joel Lunenfeld, who I've known since college, and he runs a division of Publicis. And I'm lucky that I have him in my corner. But not everyone is lucky to have folks like that, because they don't know how to ask for mentorship. How does someone, maybe at any stage in their career, what's the best way to approach finding a mentor?
So I will tell you, I have spoken at events, and I will tell the attendees, my name is Angela Cheng-Cimini. I'm the only one on LinkedIn. Let me know that you heard me speaking with Adam, and I'm happy to connect. Fewer than 10% will take me up on that offer.
So people aren't taking action.
And the offer is out there. It's for them to take, and so even the low-hanging fruit, they're not grabbing. So let's start with the really easy stuff. People who are willing to extend a hand to help, you got to take those opportunities.
Hey everyone, we'll jump right back into the conversation, but first let's talk about a game changer in hiring, Greenhouse. Greenhouse is a leading hiring platform that helps companies get measurably better at hiring. Because when it comes to building great teams, every hire should be the right hire. With Greenhouse, you don't just fill roles, you transform your hiring with a structured process that ensures fairness, removes bias, and enables data-driven decisions. AI-powered workflows in Greenhouse streamline every step from sourcing top talent to personalizing the candidate experience, allowing recruiters to focus on strategic, high-impact hiring that drives real business outcomes. The result? A faster, more efficient process that turns talent into a true competitive advantage. Over 7,500 companies, including HubSpot, Duolingo, Gong, JD Power, and Scout24, trust Greenhouse to optimize their hiring process and take candidates from talented prospects to top performers. And it's not just the best hiring platform, it's also a great place to work. Greenhouse has been recognized by Fortune, Inc. magazine, Glassdoor, Forbes, and more as a top workplace. Want to hire better, faster, and more fairly? Visit greenhouse.com today and get ready to hire for what's next. All right, back to the show.
How do you ask someone to be your mentor?
You have to know what the objective is of the relationship, and then you also have to be willing to make sure that it's of mutual benefit. It can't be a complete take. So what can you offer the mentor in return?
So flip that around and talk about the value of the mentee giving back to the mentor. And I've had this conversation too. There's a lot in giving back, right? There's a lot to that. What have you learned about yourself in a mentor-mentee relationship as being the mentor?
All the things I don't know. Right? As much as I've been at this for 30 years, I'm still learning stuff. And I mean, I have the benefit of 2 young adult children, so they're keeping me hip and cool, right? Because they're teaching me things, whether it's the lingo,
they're keeping me fresh,
or how that early generation career folks are thinking, right? I mean, we know that 30% don't want to be in management. We know they don't want the grind that I'm in.
Workforce is changing these days.
So they're giving me a window into that. So how can I use that intel to develop organizations that are hospitable to them?
The face of the modern workforce, the people coming out of, not just because college is going down too, the fact that you could get great jobs and not having a college degree.
No debt?
Then no need for it, no debt. And I look back, I mean, the big thing that I learned in college was how to live like an adult. And I use that in,
air quotes.
I use that in air quotes there. But are we devaluing the college education, or are we calibrating?
I think we're right valuing.
Right valuing. I call it right valuing, recalibrating. Not every role needs to have a degree attached to it.
No, for sure. I think we undervalue voc tech. I think there's a lot to be said about vocational technical schooling.
Unbelievable. In this country, we have a deficit of the trades, and you could come out of trade school making a really solid living.
And then own your own business.
Own your own business, part of a union, like all these benefits out there that actually are stability.
Yes.
Right? If you're looking for stability, it's not in the 9 to 5. It's not in the
And
9.
a little bit more AI proof. Plumbing,
Oh.
HVAC, installing windows, building houses.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's some robotic tech in the construction space, but we're very far. Very, 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 very.
Become the programmer of those robots.
Exactly. I want to talk a little bit of AIPI advocacy. Why is it so important?
Because when I was coming up through the ranks, I didn't see leaders that looked like me. Just as simple as that.
Why?
A lot of reasons. I mean, I think a lot of it is systemic bias, particularly as an Asian female. We're seen as meek. We're not seen as having the leadership qualities that will drive success. So we're followers. We're not leaders. We're too meek. We don't know how to be vocal. We don't know how to challenge. We're sexualized. All of those things don't necessarily add up to a formula for corporate success. And I want to break that mold.
Yeah, so how do we break it?
You need to recruit more, you need to sponsor more, you need to mentor more so that there's critical mass that can amplify the success that the few of us have had.
And when we talk about diversity, I say it all the time, it's obviously on the outside. That's like the first thing people think about diversity. They think about sexual orientation, but it's really about diversity of mindset, right? Like it's diversity of mindset and changing voice that changes mind. So you're building your practice right now. Where is it now, and where do you want it to go 1 year from now? We're back at Transform next year, 2026. You and I are having this conversation. Manifest something out to the universe. Where do you want to take your business?
I want our readers and our constituents to find that what we put out there is indispensable. That we are a thought partner to everything they're trying to do with their mission. I want to be side by side with them in the trenches and pulling them up.
I love it. What's the greatest piece of career advice that you've ever received that you want to pay forward?
Not enough time to survive under a toxic environment.
Ooh, that's a good one there. Last but not least, before we end these rapid fire sessions of the podcast here at Transform here, you have reached what some people look like on paper the pinnacle of success in your career.
Yes.
But success is defined differently by everybody. Angela, how do you define success?
I am very grateful for the success I have had. And what I define success is that now I have agency and I have choice and privilege to do the things that really matter to me. I'm not scrounging for crumbs. I'm baking my own cookies.
Yes. I love it there. How's the book coming? Do you have pen on paper yet?
It's hard. I started. It's harder than I thought.
It is harder than
I thought.
Well, putting the intentions out there for the book. Angela, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. Where could folks connect with you? Where could they learn more?
Angela Cheng-Cimini, let me know that you heard me riffing with Adam, and I'm happy to connect.
Awesome. Angela, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Wisdom is forever, but for us, it's time to go. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we'll be back with our next episode soon, jam-packed with more incredible humans. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing. To join the conversation, search the podcast on LinkedIn. And to catch up on past episodes and more info, please visit www.thepodcast.com.